Brodes Media.
Yes! Joel Hans Embiid! There were so many things that he did out there just blew my damn mind. The 360 shot from the free throw line, turnaround jumper, the dagger at the end after Doc Rivers takes the timeout. Here they go, .9 on the clock. It's good. It's good. I was informed that the only way he knew how to score was because of free throws, was because of the foul line, was because the referees in South Philadelphia, they just called everything. Nick Nurse looked like a little bitch today. All he did was whine and complain. All those Raptors fans, they looked like bitches too with those fuck Joel Embiid chants. Well, shove it right up your ass because Joel Embiid delivered. And look, it's not even like the Sixers played well. They didn't. Let's go through what happened, shall we? James Harden fouled out. They didn't even have one of their top-tier elite players on the floor who was stellar to that point. They had 5,000 turnovers in the first half, and the Raptors still couldn't put them away. They were down Matisse Thybulle because he's unwilling to be available for his teammates with a very selfish act, but they were down someone who started just a couple games before the regular season even ended. Embiid had 5 points at one point, and we're scratching our head wondering what the hell was going on. And give Raptors credit, right? Nick Nurse, they had a game plan. Game plan number one was to bitch and complain and cry the whole time because they were very desperate. And it worked. Unfortunately for the Sixers, it absolutely worked. The referees were abysmal, and that's what it was. But you figured it would be that way, considering how harsh and how brutal and how disturbingly vocal Nick Nurse was about it, because he really had no other option because his team is not good enough this season. Danny Green underneath the basket, he's missing two inchers, right? I mean, not even 2 footers. He's missing 2 inchers. He did deliver a big three, but you had that issue. He got that technical foul due to frustration. You got a bunch of teammates smacking him and kind of pushing him like, yo, dude, what are you doing? Look at the time. Look at where we are in the game right now. We're trying to make a surge here. And you get to half, and you're about down 10 points or so, and you think, wow, hold on. We played that horrible. We played that bad, and we still are in this. So I was smelling blood the entire time. Nothing the Raptors were doing really scared me because it's like the Sixers look bad, man. The Sixers look so out of whack, so out of sync. They're not running their offense at all. And they're still only down by what? All right, let this play out. Let these 48 minutes play out. And before you know it, Joel blocks the shit out of them. Somehow they call it a foul. They go to the line. They miss both. Like, this is even battling the situation where at the end of regulation, Embiid takes that step-back three and Tobias Harris misses the bunny. And I saw so much reaction towards Tobias Harris in that moment, claiming that, oh my God, Tobias, we can never count on you. Shut up. Tobias Harris was fucking awesome. Tobias Harris has been balling. Tobias Harris deserves a ton of respect. He had that awesome baseline move earlier in the game when they were shooting on the right side of the court, and his defense, the way that he's been battling on the defensive side of the floor has been mesmerized, like very, very important to the success of this team. So he grabbed a big-time offensive rebound. He battled on the floor with it, not literally on the floor. I'm saying like both guys were planted on the ground there, battling for about 5-6 seconds. No whistle was being blown, and then he went up, and it was probably one of the best looks you could possibly grab off of an O board, and he just came up a little shy. But, you know, I'm not going to rip Tobias in that moment. I'm proud of the work ethic. I said, all right, let's go. We'll be all right. Let's go. Keep your head up. Maxey had a burst of speed. Niang had a couple big threes in there. All around, you look at this team and you go through. Harden had his phase before he fouled out. Tobias was great. Maxey showed his burst. He did take that 1-3 in overtime. That was nothing but the back of the backboard. You go, all right, you'll learn from that, kid. All right, but don't worry about it here. Like, Maxey's a star in the making, but those are those possessions that you look back at and go, all right, we'll note that in our brain of something that needs to change in future playoff games for sure. I thought Doc kind of said it best during the post-game press conference, and that was, it was good to win this game, but you don't win a lot of games this way. And you're not wrong. The reason why you won is because you're a better team than the Raptors, and that's what we were saying after the first two games. Were we saying that before the series? No, we were not saying that before the series. Were we saying that after we recognized that the Raptors don't have enough? Yes. Yes, you were. So if you look at all the flaws, looking at the Sixers and how they were kind of just out of their touch and out of their rhythm, and they still were able to do it, I mean, it really is a defining situation of what we said as the Sixers were going into Toronto. What a classless group of people. For all the trash that we hear about Philadelphia sports fans, I mean, seriously, Toronto's garbage. Hot garbage all the way around. But I love the fact that Embiid, you go to the situation that occurred a couple years ago, and it was a devastating time for us emotionally. And I talked about how you have Joel Embiid learning from that moment. You have someone that's wired differently, where playoff losses can mean so much. Everyone's so quick to call you a loser when you are an individual player that's regarded as one of the best in the league that have sometimes failing in the postseason. I don't understand that narrative, because there's a growing process, and there's a situation that occurs where you need to go through experiences. And Embiid with the quadruple doink from that picture that's being thrown around Twitter right now of him, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, George Niang celebrating, jumping up and down as he made that three-pointer and going bonkers, to when he was crying off of the court. And that's what it is in life. That's not just a sport thing. That's not just an athlete thing. That's life. That is a perfect collage of what it's like to just take issues, take problems, put your best foot forward, learn from those mistakes, learn from those issues, and then bada bing, bada boom, the full player of Embiid a couple years later blossoms in front of our eyes, where he drills a big-time three on the road in overtime in the same exact spot. Is it the same as Game 7 and then going on to win a championship if you're Kawhi Leonard? No, I'm not going to say that that is the case, but it still shows such a sign of unbelievableness out of an MVP caliber guy, while Jokic is completely falling apart and looking gassed as hell and looking out of shape. We got Embiid logging in how many minutes? We got this team playing how deep into overtime and shining and battling adversity and winning a game that they shouldn't. They stole one where their first half, I mean, turnovers galore. I couldn't believe they were shooting as well as they were shooting in that first half. But you look at the sloppiness and you just, give the Raptors credit. They made them uncomfortable, but you were just all out of sorts and you just couldn't get it. You figured first 10 minutes, 8 minutes or so, you got to weather the storm. The crowd's going to be jumping out of their seats. They're going to give you that momentum push and that energizer bunny that you're looking for. That's what the fans would do. But at some point, everything would settle down and things would kind of get back into what it should be, and it would go back to the mean after that big-time boost. And that's kind of what happened there as you saw the second half and Joel get rolling. I mean, he's dunking on Pascal Siakam. You could see his skill set shining in so many different ways. And it wasn't just the free throw line. For all the idiots and the morons that say he can only score because of the way that the game is called based off of him flopping. Okay, all right. How about you go through all the foul calls so far in this series and you just look like an idiot, an absolute moron, if you still feel that that's the case. So all around, I'm just super excited. You know, like, that was crazy. The the excitement I had, and it's the playoffs, right? So you're always on the edge of your seat. But it's been a while since I've been that vocal towards my television. My fiance's been sleeping, and I'll use the air quotes on sleeping here because I'm sure she has woken up a bunch of times. But I was mother effing the TV. I was clapping to the full speed that I can, giving full time 3,000% into my claps to the point where my palms are starting to hurt. I screamed a big fuck yes! Fuck yes! When Embiid hit the shot, jumping up and down, hoping I wasn't going to hit my head on the top of the ceiling. So I gave it my all. It's been a long time. And look, when you win games 1 and 2 the way that you do, and you just win by 20 plus, you annihilate them with a breeze, it's not even a competition, well then of course you're not going to have the same reaction, right? Instead, I was yawning. Let's check it on the Phils. What are the Phils doing? That's what game 1 and game 2 was like. That wasn't the case here. The goal when you head into Toronto was to split 1-1, go back home for game 5, 3-1. And who knows? Look, you get a little bit of rest here. Who knows what happens in game 4, afternoon game, 2 o'clock. But, I mean, let's be realistic. If you're in that Raptors locker room, that's deflating. That's demoralizing. That's the game that you win. 2-1, it's a little more interesting. Hey, if they win that 4th game, you're at home. Now the series is time. After that, it's, I mean, okay, you might squeeze one out, the good old gentleman's sweep maybe. But at this point, I don't know how much you could be feeling yourselves in that Raptors locker room because the Sixers basically just snatched your soul and you don't have answers for Joel Embiid. How many times do I have to stress this to you? Joel Embiid is unguardable. There's no one on your team that could do anything about it. And then if you want to do something about it, that's fine. It's called fouling, and that's when he will make a shot. So pick your poison, right? What do you want to do? I get it. You're going to double him, and when he has his back to the basket and he's spinning around, there's going to be a help defender over there to try and make him turn the ball over, and he can get out into transition. That's fine. It may work once in a little bit here, and it worked in the first half, and it worked throughout at times, and all that. Sure, turnovers happen from the whole entire Sixer squad in that first half, but okay, say what you will about it. When you wake up the beast, this is what you get. Superstars win in the NBA. The Sixers have superstar talent. The Raptors don't have superstar talent. And this is why we see the result that we saw today.